Hello everybody, welcome to this first reading of 2017. Here we are. It's a 1 year. 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 7 is 10, which reduces to a 1. Brand new beginnings. And I just feel such a sense of excitement in my very belly, because I love this symbol that we were given for this week's reading from Virgo 16. So Virgo is a really earthy sign, but it's a getting down to business. It's a perfecting. It's an interest in mastery. It's an interest in doing a really good and complete job. And that's what I feel like this year. It has such potential for us to really hone in on what it is how we're wanting to perfect our lives, because Virgo is also very perfecting. It likes everything tied up with a neat little bow, making lists, checking things off, making sure you're doing it right. But for you, that's the thing. And I've been saying over the past probably 6 months now, I feel like this year is what I would call the year of the A&D. That it's about really looking at multiple scenarios and options in our life, and knowing that we can decide, okay, today this feels right, and I might want to blend in a little bit of this too. It's a very creative kind of spirit. So there's less of a likelihood to actually be selecting one thing and sticking with that, but instead being like a chef in this glorious kitchen with every ingredient that you can imagine at your fingertips. And you're very easily able to pick out which portions of which ingredients you want to work with, and then adjusting it along the way. It's enormously creative. And there becomes less of this tide of really only being on one side of an issue, or only seeing one way to go at a problem. It's like our brains get expanded, and we start to see that if we just take a minute, take a breath before you make your decision on what you're going to do, and really take a 360 view around, maybe ask a few friends or family that you trust about their thoughts, and then you come to your own, which may be an option that isn't even currently on the table. Okay, it might be something that you totally create that's completely new. That's how exciting this energy is. And I want you to feel the expansiveness of what's available to you. Our experience is a creation of how we choose to go about experiencing our world. That is your divine power in every moment. How you want to go into situations, how you want to respond to situations, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And so I want that creator energy to be alive in you, and for you to be amped up about it, because with the new year, there just becomes this surge of fresh powerhouse kind of energy that we can really get on board with, like a magic carpet that can just whisk us away into a completely new way of being. So our symbol this week is, again, Virgo 16, earth sign, very diligent. Delighted children crowd around the orangutan cage in a zoo. And what I got immediately was, what if your card reading has to do with, what if you bring a greater sense of the ability to be an observer, the ability to be in a sense of wonder, and the ability to be curious in more moments than not in the coming year? What if those become key words for you? Being an observer / being observant, being curious, and being filled with a sense of wonder. Like when a child sees something that is completely new, this kind of animal that they've never seen before. Wow. And that can be your creation, that you realize you can create something completely new. So that's what the card readings are based on this week, is on these senses of how much curiosity, observation, and wonder can we really bring into each moment. And this is going to kind of give us a pointer, your card, as to kind of what comes of that, if we want to really step into that. Okay, so the first card up was from the Life Purpose deck by Doreen Virtue, and woo-wee, I haven't looked at these cards. Freedom. This is my favorite card of this entire deck. I love the passion of the orange in the background. What it says in it is you're free to do what you choose. And there are these dolphins diving about in these golden waters before her. She sees nothing but possibilities. Really, people, you that chose this card, there can be such an intense sense of creativity, because the orange here is very telling to me. And the animals jumping right in front of this orange sky. So as you bring more of a sense of wonder, you create more possibilities for yourself to experience these big, creative, expansive shifts. It is like when we decide that we're going to try out a new hobby, let's say. So for me, in January, I'm going to start learning to play the harp. And this came to me on an intuition after seeing, it's right on the money because there goes my bell. It came to me as an intuition after seeing a post from another friend who just started lessons, and I just knew immediately I had to start that for multiple reasons. But what I'm going to experience out of that by really taking myself out of my comfort zone, I really know nothing about string instruments at all. And when we put ourselves in that kind of a situation, whatever it is, whether it's an interest or you're joining a group of people, a cause, a volunteer effort, doing a craft, doing a hobby of some sort, starting to be part of the Toastmasters, I don't know, anything that speaks to your heart, you put yourself out of your current box, because, or I should say really your sphere, your human energy sphere, but we see it as a box, most of us. And you put yourself purposely outside of that, and it is uncomfortable for a little while because you don't know what you're doing, and you're such a beginner. But it is this sense of Virgo that I'm talking about, this sense of curiosity, like, how could I become a master at this? How could I bring my sense of mastery to this? And there was a reason that you were led to it in the beginning. There's a reason that your intuition says, I really think I want to teach a painting class. I really think that I want to start drawing my own mandalas. I really think I want to start taking singing lessons. I'm giving a lot of typical creative kind of ideas because those tend to be very tangible for us. But it also could be you're ready to break out and look into a whole new career path that might take you a while to get there. You've all of a sudden got this desire to be a nurse. And you just start taking the steps to look into what is it going to take, one foot in front of the other. And before you know it, things start lining up. That's these dolphins that are hopping in the water here. That's the universe absolutely puts everything right into place for you. It's as if, like, then you meet a friend who just finished nursing school, and all of a sudden she's telling you, I would do this, but I wouldn't do this. It's like the knowledge that you need comes to you from somebody who's already been through it, so that you don't have to take those steps. You can go at a faster pace, and you can end up creating your own path of how you want to do it. So that's the kind of energy here. And for you, we have the pink calcite, which is known to me as lace. So what this tells me is that in your approach, as you're considering a sense of more observation, more curiosity, more of a sense of wonder, be very gentle in your approach, okay? This is like ladies sipping tea from porcelain cups. It's very like dining or having tea with the Queen of England. It's very sophisticated, and it's very ladylike and proper and very graceful. And so know that just like with the dolphins, when you watch dolphins in the water, the grace that they bring, that approach is really going to serve you well as you think about these themes of observation, wonder, and curiosity. Trying to not push too hard. A sense of freedom implies that you already see the way that something is going to turn out, and you're just allowing your heart to follow it, and you're not pushing it. You're literally in the moment, allowing yourself to flow that through and just see what comes as you're in it. That's the energy of this, okay? So it's not a push energy. It is a let's take it one step at a time, one day at a time. If I'm looking into nursing school, I'm going to go online and do some research. I'm going to reach out to friends of mine who are nurses at different levels, LNA, RN, APRN, and I'm going to get some wisdom from them, and then I'm going to go within and find out from myself, why do I want to do this? What do I want out of this? Like trusting yourself to just be in the moment and look into the steps that feel right to you as you move through it. All right? Nice, nice. All right, so next up we have the Angel Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue. And this is 2 of Air. All right, so we've got kind of a stalemate sort of energy here. All right, I see the cross of the unicorns. What it says on the card is being unable or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate, pretending there is no problem. Now, the air suit is about our thoughts, okay? And this is much of what I've talked about with being more of an observer, more curious, more of a sense of wonder as you go into this year. So for you, a real sense of open-mindedness, of really taking an inventory, I would say, as you're going into your year and as you're moving through your year. Something that's going to help you is to take an inventory of, am I trying to get on a side? Am I trying to be part of a side of something? Because I'll just tell you that the energy this year does not feel like that. That does not feel like productive energy to me. As I said in the intro, the and energy, that there can be room for both. You have a voice and thoughts and ideals and virtues that matter to you, but standing staunchly in a side is not going to get you as far, is what this card is telling me. Because you don't make any traction. Instead, there is more of a calling to you to work with. If you see another side of something that you're passionate about, and you're always looking at the opposing side and wanting to, but this is what I have to say, that other side is not going to hear you. It's like it's like me trying to talk to my 14-year-old when he's just not hearing me. I have to find a way to do it where he can literally hear me and be willing to hear me. But I have to come at it from his viewpoint and to have a sense of understanding. Because this is where my thought of what if everything is true, and another way of thinking about that is what if everything is an option? Everybody's got their options of what they feel is right. And so there's just a sense of not verbally and through your actions, through your thoughts and emotions that you're choosing to put out there, not attacking them, because that's truth for them. And that's the thing about planet Earth, is we all get free will to choose what we feel is right for us. And so if there's something you're really passionate about, because that's what this symbol in this kickoff reading is about more expansion for you. I want more expansion for you. I want greater sense of daily wonder, like when you were, let's say, 3, 4, 5, in that range, when you would bounce out of bed, you couldn't wait to get started. What am I going to do today? What am I going to create? Imaginative play, because that is becoming more real life than the reality that we've known previously. But you can't get to the expansion if you're always in a kind of this defensive mode. That's what I see with these guys that have their horns crossed, is it's always like I've got to protect, I've got to not necessarily lash out against, but there's a real sense of being a defensive about, but this is how I think. So what if you continue to just think what you think and make your beliefs as strong as you can for you, and maybe ignore that other side, because that's a whole other segment of the population. That's their belief, that's their truth, and you're wasting your energy by fighting out against them, because they're never going to hear you. This is a very blunt reading for you. I feel like they're not going to hear you. They're like my 14-year-old who would rather have his headphones on right now than to listen to me have a family discussion. So what if you stay in your space and you don't get into this place of becoming a stalemate? Because what I'm saying to you, from my heart to yours, is that's wasted energy. I don't want to see you waste your immense creator ability on trying to fight against something versus just being super passionate about what you love, and get lost in it. Get lost in it, okay? Now, for you, I'm just checking, we have the fire, this big obsidian known as Raven. This is fire energy. So it shows me how much passion you really have. It's a lot. You have a lot of deep passion. But this is the sorcerer within. These are the deep secrets within. This is, your own inner wisdom that your team, your own wisdom is asking you to call upon, instead of getting on the bandwagon with everybody else, and instead of being a part of this wave with everybody else, that you create your own. This is very individual energy. It's deep, deep source wisdom is this crystal. The Raven. It is the deepest, darkest parts of ourselves. And when I say darkest, I mean like the depths of the ocean. This is what part of what I'm trying to redefine. I'm really tired of darkness being a negative thing. It's not necessarily. Again, redefine everything. Look at it with wonder and say, I wonder, what does that really mean? This is about you defining from your depths. What am I passionate about? What do I want to put my fire into? That is not about firepower towards another. It is about simply putting your creator energies to something that fuels you up, not brings you down, not makes you sad, not makes you frustrated. Those kinds of words, sadness, frustration, anger, resentment, those are low vibe energies, big time low vibe. That is not you, my friend. You are so much bigger than that. You look at you. You are this is the biggest crystal that I have. And it's a serious power player. You have so much ability, So I just don't want to see you waste it, because I see it almost, I'm getting an image of somebody running in place and exerting so much and being really pissed off. And that energy is needed, but in a super expansive, creative energy that is your passion, your wisdom, that is one of a kind. Okay, so take that and bring that observer sense of curiosity and sense of wonder into your year, instead of getting into stalemate situations. Just watch when you're, we all do it. But just watch when you have a tendency to want to get into kind of picking a side or needing to tell somebody how you feel about something. Because again, just be cognizant that they may not be able to hear you, and that's wasted effort. So how about you just stick in your own field, your own sphere of influence, and make it the best damn, most passionate place, and create from there. Create new stuff, create new ways of being, just as the example, without trying to convince anybody. Just be you. Let it shine out of you because of what you're creating. Okay? All right. The third card is from our animal medicine deck. And this is the wild boar. So the wild boar is about confrontation. And with that, I get a sense of there being huge opportunity for you if you will go into this year being willing. Now, I want you to redefine what confrontation means. This is another, I just want to throw the dictionary out right now. I'm getting really feisty about words lately because there's so much baggage. It's energetic baggage attached to stuff. And what if you took the word confrontation and saw it as your bold, creative power that you have in every moment to be strong enough, courageous enough to step out and to not be afraid or intimidated or held back by what any societal expectations are, or expectations in relationships or your workplace or anything with friendships, your family. What if confrontation becomes simply more like stepping into your power? That is what your team is bringing forward. What if words like fear, and distrust and defensiveness kind of go to the wayside, and what comes forward is strength and courage and faith? What if those become the key words for you? That there's a real sense that this is a big year for you to really step out, baby. To really redefine yourself, because I want to redefine that word for you. I just want you to look at confrontation as a super positive word. And I think that any word that we could come across can have positive implications, because the duality always exists. There is a light side and there is a shadow side of everything. Welcome to the yin and yang of our world. So what if confrontation, you stepping forward like a wild boar? This is a wild animal. This is like us. We are wild animals, wild souls in our world. And we have become very programmed and conditioned in how we choose to respond. Of course, there are rules of safety and respect, but those come from a place of love. That why would we hurt fellow man? And so what if, like the wild boar, you are the wild soul who is simply ready to defend when it needs to defend, and by that meaning just being you, being able to be you, to step out and say, no, actually, this is how I feel about that. to be able to really speak your truth is important this year. So in terms of bringing a sense of more observation, wonder, and curiosity to your 2017, I really feel that there are going to be some times when you might want to charge ahead, because I do get the sense of the boar that's just going after what it wants and not being afraid, because that's also confrontation. It's confrontation of your goals. It's a driven passion, which is also related to the Virgo symbol. Virgo is incredibly driven and perfectionist and interested in mastery. So this is very powerful for you that chose this card. In really wanting to redefine everything. Really think about, where have you been hiding? And what have you been hiding from? Really, I get a sense, like particularly over the past 5 years, this is a whole new opportunity. This is the beginning of a 9-year cycle. And it just gets better and better. We become finer with age as we go through that cycle. So really think about, what have you been hiding from? What have you been backing away from? What have you been saying, no, I'll just do that because they think I should do that. Because part of this symbol that we've got here, these ideas of curiosity and wonder, you have the co-creator ability to look around you at many options. You have so many pathways that you can choose. So it does become a very well-worn path after a while. Kind of think of like, I'm seeing like really tall grasses and like a Jeep that's on a safari, and because it has gone out on this same path with groups of people over, perhaps many times in a day, there becomes this just very well-worn path that's almost like as if on a Disney ride when you're on a rail, literally, like there's no getting off of it. And this year is a real challenge for you to get off of the rail and to step into whatever you might be fearing. And I do want to say, for some of you perhaps too, this is in regards to health. I'm going to say to you from my heart, do not be afraid if there's something in your health that is not right. Do not be afraid of having it looked into, because you have the power to create whatever the outcome is after you meet with a doctor. You have the ability to create that journey and that path of healing in whatever way you choose. And seriously, you can make miraculous things happen because you're a co-creator. That's who you are. And this is bold energy. So if any of you have health concerns that you have not looked into, I do get the sense that maybe there's some fear hiding there. Let it go. It's kind of like sometimes I would get this sense of anxiousness when I would sit down to do my checkbook. Or I had the same thing when I was in college and had to start a big project. And I always felt better when I just got the numbers onto paper or in a spreadsheet, or started the paper, and I found that my momentum just took over, and I just, woof, I all of a sudden had this passionate energy that just carried me through it. And things ended up being better than I could have imagined. In every time that I've had that feeling, that has happened. So I'm encouraging you, no matter what it is, if there's fear, try your best to let it go and embrace this wild boar energy of confrontation, meaning you facing it. It isn't necessarily about you fighting other people. I'm not a believer in that. It's wasted energy. It's more about you stepping into and confronting you, those layers of you that have been holding you back, okay, that have just been hiding. And before I forget too, you have the malachite auger energy. So this tells me just how powerful this is. Many of you know I've said before, this tiny little shard is one of the most powerful pieces that I have. It's I don't use it too often with clients. It's getting down, it's scorpionic energy. This is digging down into the depths and not letting up until it gets to the sludge so that can all be released. Okay, so there could be just some, whatever areas that feel fearful, your team is actually saying those are your greatest opportunities for expansion this coming year. It's that big for you that you really need to look at whatever brings fear or a sense of being not good enough or not prepared enough, worthy enough. Any of those kinds of themes, really look at that. Look at that as you get into this year and be unafraid to go forward, because I'm telling you, you can make anything happen. You don't need to sit in fear, because the fear actually contracts your energy bubble, your sphere. It contracts your energy. So I can tell you this from a personal perspective. I'm in the middle of chemo treatments, and I feel worse when I sit on the couch or allow myself to laze in bed. My body physically feels worse, and I can feel my energy sphere just getting smaller, and it's like gets crackly. And I feel hugely expansive when I get myself out for a walk. When I even go down to the store and walk around, just getting out with people, hosting people at your home and getting laughter going in your house. Just be aware of times when you might want to shut down versus huge rewards can come if you will expand out, if you will kind of push yourself. Push in the confrontation piece is more about you confronting you. Letting go of those edges, like, no, I can't, I'm too you got to drop that. If you want this expansion, this amazing sense of wonder that can come into your life on a daily basis. So there we go, everybody. I hope you have an amazing 2017. It is going to be an incredible year. This is, I think, going to be the best year of my life. I'm loving my journey so far. I know that's counterintuitive, but I am. I feel like I'm glowing from the inside out, rebuilding every cell, every treatment. I can't wait. And I want that for you too, that sense of creator ability. You can make it anything you want to. It's not rose-colored glasses. This is seeing reality the way you want to see it. And who cares when anybody else thinks? Like, this is your party, so you make it the way you want to. All right? Till next week, wishing you good vibrations. Bye-bye.